Good morning. Well, actually, good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. Just wanted to jump on for about 15 minutes and share with you guys some expertise when it actually comes to sculpting white powder, right? So let me show you what you have to do to have a lot of success, especially if you're going to be working on forms. Let's go. All right, so what we want to be able to do, okay, so, and again, I'm going to be working with speed white. You have to remember when you're working on a form that consistency makes all the difference in the world. So if you are too wet, if I submerge my brush and I tap off excess, and I'm able to successfully pull back and bounce inside the powder. If I go directly to the form, right, and then I release, this is what ends up happening. Right? You can see how it ends up running all over the place. This is very hard to control. So for somebody who doesn't have any experience, what ends up happening is you end up jamming your brush and getting it clogged, right? So we don't want this type of a consistency. We want clay. We want clay-like. So I like to get a form. I'll just go ahead and pre-pinch it. Just hold it back here just so that you guys can see. But you're going to notice that if I submerge my brush, again, submerge it, and then tap off the back end, and then again, when I'm actually pulling into the powder, I don't want to just bounce, right? You have to be able to slightly pull back and then bounce, right? So what you're doing is you're pushing down and then bouncing, right? Slightly pulling back and then bouncing. Slightly pulling back, then bouncing. That's going to get you a nice even bead on one side. If you drain the excess off of the bead, right, then you'll notice when you go to the form, you have a consistency that's very manageable. You're going to be able to work this. And again, when you're working with other powders, it makes all the difference. But particularly white, especially if it has high pigmentation, right? You want to be able, again, to work it like clay. So what I do when I'm practicing, I'll get a finger, right? I'll just kind of clip off the edge. I'll go ahead and get my form, okay? And this is really important because whether you're going to be working with glitters or anything that actually has color, right? In order for you to have success, if you just clip it off and actually you can, create a line which you're going to be able to push right from side to side. If I submerge my brush, I pull back, I bounce, right? I take that bead, dab off the excess, okay? Then I go to the surface. What I'll be able to do is immediately wipe my brush to get it clean. Imagine I'm going to be using this side of the brush and I'm going to be walking it from the top. So if I press down, you can see a lot of that excess is already past the growth channel. If I bring it even, right, you see a little bit of thickness. If I walk it from the top, walk it from the top, walk it from the top, you can see how I'm actually able to get it to the side, right? So really fast, you can see how it's sliding. If I slide this even with the growth channel, and then what I'm doing, you can see the very, very top part of that bead. I'm walking it from the top. You see that? Top. It's almost like the base of my brush is on top as I'm walking it even, okay? Now, again, you'll be able to kind of pull this into form, and I'm constantly walking back and forth, right? Don't worry, we're not trying to create a smile. What we're just trying to do is get an even structure from side to side so that if you're doing smile lines, you understand what you have to do. Let me go ahead and remove this. And let's go ahead and repeat some of the same action, right? So if you have a situation right, where you have a wall of acrylic here. What you want to be able to do is create this type. All right, so, and imagine if this was if this was, again, say the natural nail, and we end up building a smile line in reverse. We have to be able to, when we're building our free edge, so you can see how it ramps, right? Tight to the cuticle area, same thickness is going to be from here to here. When we're building our white, it's almost in reverse, right? So it's ramping up and meeting in the middle. And then what you're going to end up doing is filing away the thickness from side to side so that your smile line ends up becoming really, really sharp. But it has to be able to meet like this. So what you could practice when you're working, again, you go ahead and get the tab underneath, pre-pinch my form, right? Open this up, and then get the form on nice and tight. All right, let's go ahead and work this out. So I'm going to assume that let's go ahead and assume that there is a smile line, right there. So I'll submerge my brush. Again, I'm going to go ahead and bounce inside the powder. I'm going to try to get this larger. Submerge the brush. I'm going to pull, bounce, bounce, bounce. I'm going to get a nice bead. I'm going to release a lot of the excess from the base. The angle of my brush, I'm pushing up so the thickness is there. Immediately wipe my brush, walk it down, get it even. I'm almost walking it this way, right? From the top, from the top, from the top. Same exact thing. Get it even with the side. From the top, even. From the top, even. Right? So it's almost what we want to be able to do, again, is try to push a lot of that excess, right? So you could see if I was going to work a smile line traditionally, which I used to do in the past, I want to be able to build it so that I'm pushing everything up, right? Don't worry about what the shape is, right? We're trying to push everything up so that a lot of the thickness is going to be right here in front, okay? That's what you want to be able to do when you're actually working your white from this point to this point. Let's go ahead and take this off. Do it one more time. Okay? All right, let's go ahead and get a form. It's very difficult if you're going to be working something that is too wet. And notice that I'm actually keeping my brush inside my dish so that I don't have to worry about any of the acrylic getting jammed up inside. I have it nice and tight to the front of the form. Try to work nice and even, and notice that I'm actually holding onto the form when I'm working. But what I suggest doing is pulling back, bounce, bounce, bounce. Get yourself a nice medium to large bead. Release excess, right? Set it to the front. Right here, wipe your brush from the center. Notice I'm walking from the top. I get it even with the growth channel, walk it from the top. Even with the growth channel, walk it from the top, back over the top. Even with the growth channel, walk it from the, you can see I'm just lightly walking it from the top so that I get a nice even structure from side to side. And then once I get it even from side to side, I'm using the body of the brush to walk over the top so that I can get an even structure this way. That is really, really important, okay? All right. And then again, I have enough time to stretch out the length, could work out whatever shape as well as, shape as well as length by pulling and using the body of the brush to be able to get it from side to side.
What's up, guys? I'm the education coordinator for Young Nails Incorporated, and I really hope you guys are enjoying this nail tutorial with Greg Salo. Here's the thing, I don't think you guys know this yet, but there's actually Zoom classes for all this stuff. All about acrylic, all about gel, all about how to use the e-file correctly, just like they do in the salon. A lot of people don't know this. We have Zoom classes for all this stuff. So if you want to take it to the next level, here's what I want you to do, and do it now. 714-992-1400. That's the number to call, or email me, ray@youngnails.com. It's getting filled up, but I want you to call now, 714-992-1400, or email me, ray@youngnails.com. Now let's get back to that tutorial. This thing is awesome.
Okay, I hope this helps for those of you guys that are struggling doing your pink and whites. For those of you guys that are coming out to OWC in the next few weeks, we're going to be doing a lot of it. It's going to be quite intense. Looking forward to changing your lives when it comes to doing nails. It was a pleasure. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. G-Man Salo. If you guys have any class information, hit up Ray Bracamontes, right? At Ray Bracamontes. He'll be able to dial you guys in with any information concerning upcoming classes. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day. Peace.
Subscribe channel now. Subscribe channel now. Subbing and subscribing and